Welcome to Chat with Cheech. My name is Chi Marie, and I'm here today with Gabriel J. Eckert, the author of the book, The Hidden Eternity and the Unspoken Rhyme. Congratulations on your first book. How does it feel?
Oh my gosh, it's like a miracle to be sitting here and chatting with you about something that came purely from my imagination.
Yes.
I feel very, very, very honored to be here. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming. So this is part one of a series.
Yes.
So what this book is about is, its central theme is reincarnation. Why did you choose reincarnation to be the focus of the book?
Honestly, I'd like to say, well, I think that the story chose me. I didn't choose the story. I'm just a vessel. I'm delighted to be its author. The premise of it is actually, yes, it's about reincarnation, but it's actually more about moral fiber and good and evil and life and death. Actually more about life than anything. And with more of a Dante's Inferno, Harry Potter twist.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I definitely believe that this could be the next Harry Potter, so everyone make sure you pay attention whenever you hear the title. So for the characters, there's Liana, well, Simone, he's the main character, and then he has his friends Paul and London, and then Liana comes a little bit later in the book. How did you develop these characters? What inspired them? Like, how did you make them?
They, truth be told, came purely from imagination. Samal, that's an interesting story because for a long time, I couldn't envision him. I was working with my illustrator, and I could not come up with what he looked like or his name for a while, but I was able to come up with Paul and London as clear as day. I don't know how, but it was fun writing them. It was delightful writing them.
And what did you want the audience to really take away, or at least understand about Small and his friends?
A couple things. Throughout all of the magic and the reincarnation and all that happens in there, I really wanted everyone to take away the message that everything that happens to you happens for you. I wanted everybody to take away the thought process of life is meant to be explored. And as you'll see in the book, one of the things that I mentioned is the reason why these people keep coming back is because they die and they have talents and hidden talents that they never know they had, so they get a second chance to come back, or a third chance, or 100 times, or whatever, to use all the talents that they have been given. So I wanted people to take away, if you've got a gift, you use it, and use it to the utmost.
It definitely showed throughout the book. I mean, I'm trying to talk around the book, because I want you guys to buy it and read it for yourself. Great book, I have to give you that.
Thank you very much.
But for chapter 3, I wanted to definitely talk about that, because Maven, that's where we meet him. He is like the leader of the forest, right?
Yeah.
And so tell me more about the UFOD. I think it's like such a wonderful place, the 7 castles. Like, how did you do this?
Oh my gosh. So funny story. It's actually, this is the story within the story. I was at work, and I won't forget the date. It was Friday, October the 23rd of 2015. I was supposed to be working, but I wasn't working, clearly. I'm gonna get fired. No, on that day, I had been working on the story, actually starting on the story Sunday, October the 4th of 2015. And it was supposed to be the main actual story was supposed to be the guy, one character, who was to be honest with you, kind of a pill-popping womanizer, and was just a bad guy. And when he died, God was going to give him a couple chances to come back and get his life right before he died finally. But I was like, you know what? I need to do more. Then my co-worker on the day of Friday, October the 23rd, he said to me, he was like, what are you doing tonight? And I said, I'm actually going to a 70s party. So I was going to have the bell bottoms and the afro and everything. And then he said, man, I wish I could have been born in 1950 so that I could be in my 20s in the 70s, or been born in 1960 to be in my 20s in the 80s. And I was just like, that was touch paper. I've got to go. I didn't even answer his question. I was like, I gotta go. So I went back to my desk and I started writing. I was like, maybe in this world you can come back at a certain time you want, but if that's the case, then that's a privilege. If there are privileges, there needs to be structure. If there's structure, there needs to be rules. There's going to be 4 castles, no 5, no 7, for the 7 deadly sins, or 7 whatever, because 7 is the magical number. Yeah. So
I was thinking, I can't put my finger on the 7 because I felt like it was significant, but now that you said it,
there is significance. There is significance. And so then from that night on, I left went to the party. I don't if I say I'm going to be there, I'm going to be there. Left the party early, went home and wrote for 3 days. I came up with the ideas, and it was just the ideas were just flooding in my head for all 7 books, and I just planned them, plotted them out then.
Exactly. And with that, with the whole wanting to go back in time to be like what your friend said, what I really liked that you did is how you really wanted the characters to go back and review their life. I thought that was very interesting. So why that? Why did you think of what's the significance of going back to review your life again? At least for the characters.
At least for the characters in the book. Well, there's 2 ways you can look at it. There's the way in real life. I wanted readers to take away the message that we all are not perfect. None of us are perfect, and neither are the characters in the book. But we can all do better if we actually look at each one of our days and say, you know what, I did X, Y, and Z today. How can I make tomorrow even better? But in the book, I just took that theme and then I magnified it times 1,000, and add a little magic and a little spoof and things like that. So that's pretty much where that mindset came from, and
exactly.
I wanted to add.
Yeah, and I think that was the part where the maze. That's where I thought that was cool, because when Samole went, he had a lot of trouble with his memory. So memory, I love how the whole concept of time. You're definitely playing. How do you write time? I felt like you were very. I will give you that. You were very consistent with time because it's all reverse, upside down, backwards, forwards. Was it hard writing that? All about time and.
That's a good question. I don't think it was difficult, only because I planned and plotted well before my first word or the first sentence even started in the book.
It must take a lot of planning, because I felt like you actually got it very well.
Thank you very much. So it was a lot of planning and plotting before the series even started. But I think that yes, time is a main thing, and if you one of the main things is that when you go into one of the 7 castles, you're sorted via your death certificate.
Yes.
Your death certificate is what sorts you. And when you go to the castles, you view your life backwards. And you go through the maze, and it's all of what you should have done, what you didn't do, and what you should have said, and what you shouldn't have, you did say. And it's different for each of the 7 castles, which we'll see in more books to come. How your last life shows in the maze is very different depending on which castle you were sorted in.
That's a good one. I'm excited for the second book now, you guys. All right? Harry Potter almost in the making, something like that, right? That's great.
Thank you.
I love the idea of the floating corpse.
Oh my gosh, thank you.
Especially when it's a little bit later in the book, but when London, she thought, or Lyanna thought that London, her nail hit her or something, but it turned out she was decaying. Her corpse was just I was like, no! And then it gives you this sense of I felt rushed, oh my gosh, you gotta hurry up. She has to go to her next life, you know what I mean? I just felt like that's why I thought time was very a significant role in this book, because of that, not the death certificate, the maze, the corpse, man.
The corpse.
That had to be one of my absolute most favorite elements. Why did you choose their dead bodies of their past life instead of maybe, I don't know.
Well, the reason for that was actually the corpses were the bodies of the very last life that they lived. But we'll see, I can't reveal this yet, but we will see that there's significance as to why that is what it is. That's all I can say. I can't really reveal too much.
That's good. That's a good way to be. You don't want to, because I'll get it out of you one day. Well, wait till you write it.
For book number 2, I'll be back.
Exactly. And I think it plays also with the idea of there's also a final death, which I thought that was really interesting, because when he first arrived there the first time, I thought that was kind of maybe that's it, you know what I mean, that's it. But then it turns out there's another. So I'm feeling that you're saving that for the future books.
Oh, you are good. I mean, I can't reveal, but you know what? There are things that happen that we haven't even. I mean, to be honest with you, in the first book, the material that we've covered in the first book has not even scratched the surface as to what happens in this world. I mean, there's a lot. And I'm just very excited to actually delve in, and I'm just as excited to write it as people are to read it.
And I want to say what I also loved was how for chapter 1 glued me, oh my gosh, the way you write, I wanted to say, is like you can literally smell the smell. Like
Wow.
whenever you describe smell or whatever they see, whatever they taste, I'm tasting it too. I'm eating it too. I'm drinking
wow.
too. Like,
Oh, wow.
it's like,
Thank
wow.
you.
And I had to say, chapter 1 was really interesting for me because I felt like it set the tone of the book, and you didn't waste no time. That's how it set. You know what I mean? And it just made you. And what I liked about Samol that you wrote is that you felt like you're with him. You know what I mean? Like, because he lost his memory, and it also plays with how we. It's kind of like I don't know if that's what you intended, but because he doesn't know, we don't know either. So it kind of gives an element of not only are we identifying with him, but it's almost as if we are him too, because we don't really know. You know what I mean?
And I think that was one of my main goals. Was that I wanted the viewers, yes, or the readers, to actually get like a lot of depth of the whole world, but I also wanted the reader to stick with Samol. I mean, everything from his thought to his feeling to his stomach rumbling when he's hungry. I mean, I wanted him to really, really, really stick with Samol.
Yes, and we'll be seeing a lot more of him. I'm sure he'll have like a ton of great friends coming. And I loved the bond that they had. I felt like, wow, even with all the bickering and fighting, it just also felt so real life too, because we do that in real life. We
do.
bicker, whatever.
We do.
But then again, we still come together and always, and I think that was a great element too.
Thank you.
But we will take a break. Everyone, don't go anywhere because I will be back again with the author and we're going to finish up the discussion, okay? So for now, you can check it out on Amazon, get your book, and join us.